Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is the special meeting, Taos County Commission. It is just after 1:30. I'll call this meeting to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Chairman Fambro.
Present.
Commissioner Romero.
Present.
Commissioner Blankenhorn.
Present.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Present.
If everyone would please stand. Nathan, would you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Accepting an applied motion and a second on approval of the agenda. Is there any corrections or discussion? Hearing none, clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn.
Yes.
Chairman Fambro.
Yes. Moving on to item 5. These are under contracts, agreements, MOUs, RFPs, and bids, which I believe all 6 items are action items possibly. First being discussion, consideration, and decision regarding approval of contract TCC 2016-100, a contract between Taos County and Cañon Forestry LLC for a thinning project. This will be presented by Mr. Nathan Sanchez, our chief planner. Afternoon, Nathan.
Good afternoon,
You
Mr.
doing
Chairman.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, County Commissioners, we received a grant in 2015 from the Rio Grande Water Fund for $75,000, and this was to do a thinning project within the El Salto area, and it's owned by the El Salto Land Association. We put out an RFP, so basically we put it out for the whole 40 acres, but eventually we got bids from 3 different contractors. We reviewed them through our committee, and we came up with 2 contractors that are local, and one is Mark Schutz, who is under, actually this one's Charles Ferguson, who is with Cañon Forestry LLC, and we're asking for approval of the contract between Taos County and Mr. Ferguson. Stand for questions.
Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, just a recommendation from other staff. What is the recommendations from manager?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Romero, I'm going to go with the recommendation of Mr. Sanchez in the planning department at this time. Like, you know, they worked on this for quite a while, and I'm going to yield to them and their recommendation.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, for approval.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for the approval of contract TCC 2016-100, a contract between Taos County and Cañon Forestry LLC for a thinning project as set in the contract.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Yes.
Chairman Fambro.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the next one is something that Mr. Sanchez previously spoke about, but I'll read the item. It's discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of contract TCC 2016-101, a contract between Taos County and Watershed Dynamics for thinning project. Mr. Sanchez.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, yes, this is the second half of the 40 acres that will be thinning. It's a 20-acre contract, and it's with Mark Schutz, who is also a local thinning contractor, and we recommend approval of this contract.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Mr. Chairman, I so move we approve contract TCC 2016-101.
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve contract TCC 2016-101, a contract between Taos County and Watershed Dynamics for a thinning project as set in the contract. Any other discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes. Thank you, Nathan. Item C is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of contract TCC-2016-097, a contract between Taos County and Silva's Excavation for Camino del Medio in San Cristobal. Thank you. And we have presenting Mr. Earl Salazar, our Public Works Director. Good afternoon, Earl.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. I come before you to ask for approval for the contract for Mr. Silva's Excavation. They got the bid for the work that's going to be going on and coming under Medio and San Cristobal.
Questions? I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman. I'll go second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I understand there is a motion and a second to approve contract TCC-2016-097, which is a contract between Taos County and Silva's Excavation for Camino del Medio in San Cristobal. Any other discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes. Okay, item D is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of contract TCC-2016-099, which is a contract between Taos County and GM Emulsions LLC for labor, materials, traffic control to lay down single application chip seal over existing asphalt on San Cristobal, Old State Road 3. This is also being presented by Mr. Earl Salazar, our Public Works Director.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, we ask for consideration in approving the contract for GM Emulsions to do an overspill coming from Medio, Old State Road 3. Also part of the project with coming from Medio.
Make a motion to approve. I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve contract TCC 2016-099, contract between Taos County and GM Emulsions LLC for labor, materials, and traffic control for a laydown of single application chip seal over existing asphalt on San Cristobal on Old State Road 3. Any other discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Chairman Bender?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Salazar.
Thank you.
E is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of contract TCC 2016-098, a contract between Taos County and HO Construction for the Chamisal Transfer Station construction.
Yes, to do the retaining walls for our bids.
Okay, and this is being presented by Mr. Edward Martinez, our Solid Waste Director. Edward, good to see you, bud.
Likewise, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I'm here to request for the contract for the HO construction on doing the work at my Chamisal transfer station, redoing the retaining walls with concrete and taking down the old railroad ties.
Mr. Chairman, how long did they last? It's been about 20 years or so.
It's been a while. They've been burned. They're falling down now. It's actually everything started to cave in there. That Chamisal transfer station needs the work done as soon as possible.
So, Mr. Chairman, within that, the replacement of those railroad ties with concrete wall, I know that in the past, when those were built, there were liners involved in the surface of those mounds of dirt. Is the same going to take place in an effort to prevent leaks into the soil or anything like that?
I'm not sure on that, sir. I'm not sure that we did that in earlier one, and I don't believe that was done on there. For the leachate, is that what you're?
Well, any liquid waste that might be falling into the ground, when people go to the landfill and they use.
And the landfill has got a liner.
Those
Because
transfer stations.
Yeah, the transportation of concrete, so I don't believe it needs a liner for any.
In the past, we did have liners installed several feet below the surface of those areas that people would drive up to. And at the
time, it was required by EID and other state agencies that were involved in the process of building them. So I was just kind of wondering if we're doing the same with these this time around.
I don't believe so, because it's not gonna be seeping into the ground with concrete, it is gonna be the walls and the base is gonna be all one.
Chairman, a follow-up with Commissioner Romero. EID did review the plans for the transfer site, so they did approve the plans before we bid it out.
And it doesn't call for any of that matting or anything?
No, it doesn't.
So they must have changed their regulations then.
Unless it has to do with material, if you were dealing before with railroad ties, that would be porous, and this concrete, depending on the thickness, maybe,
Maybe.
because this was engineered because of the price, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Right.
So if we're in error, I think that's an engineer's thing, maybe we can go back on them and check that out. It is a good, valid concern, because we don't want to be adding to any expense in this. So maybe what we can do is with the motion, have it verified.
That's a great idea, Mr. Chairman. I'm just curious as to what the process is at this point. Based on my experience, most of those transfer stations, if not all of them, were built like that in an effort to prevent contamination from any liquid waste that might fall on the ground. It would give the county the ability to be able to clean that soil.
And not so much organic things, but maybe like
Liquid waste, acids, and batteries and stuff like that. And I know you're gonna say that we store the batteries in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, we don't, and
But
that's
some
oil
people
and
batteries,
batteries,
we
yeah.
sew up where they're supposed to.
You might get those ones that'll try to hide it between,
Yeah.
but now, you know, the recycling of batteries and stuff like that, they don't throw batteries away. Very seldom do we see a battery taken out to the transfer stations. The oils, we do collect them. We do have them in the second containment that is approved by the environmental from the Solid Waste Bureau. So for the oils and everything else we're okay with the Bureau to accept.
Mr. Sanchez, do you have anything to add to the conversation?
Chairman, Commissioners, 2 years ago, we rebuilt the Honda one, and it didn't have any liners, and generally speaking, you only need liners if you're going to handle hazardous waste, oil, battery acids, antifreeze, that kind of stuff, and we don't allow that in our transfer station. I know this design doesn't show any liners in it. The only thing that we do have to contain is our hydraulic oil has to be in a tub in case our hose leaks. But other than that, there was no liner design into this facility or the Honda.
Commissioner Blankenhorn.
Was the cost in Honda similar?
Commissioner, I don't remember, I think it was closer to about 60,000, but staff did do some work on that project. Solid Waste took down the railroad ties, Mr. Martinez and myself did all the electrical work to remove the compactor and everything. I believe everything is included in this particular project. And there's a large retention pond that has to be graded and constructed, which wasn't a part of the homosexual one.
Thank you.
The other thing, Chairman Family Commission Blankenhorn, is with the dollar amount, we're also going to turn around and do a deductive alternate. Mr. Martinez is going to disassemble the railroad ties. The contractor is well aware that Mr. Martinez and his staff are going to take down the railroad ties. So we're going to lower that cost. I can't remember that bid amount right off the top of my head.
Great.
Thank you.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Will you close the transfer station during work? That's what people are asking me, and they want to know how long.
Yes, we will. I estimate it'll probably take anywhere from a month and a half to 2. We are thinking of putting it down at the Public Works Department, taking the bins down there, because there's going to be a lot of construction going on. There's not going to be enough room for trucks going in and out. That's one of my busiest transfer stations. And that was one of the HO Construction wanted to see if we can keep the people out of there. So we are going to be putting the bins at the Public Works down in Larkin.
And have you notified Public Works about this? And what is the timeline? Like, when are they starting and when are they finishing it?
Well, the contract has been approved to them, that's why we're going before you commissioners to approve it so that they can get the ball rolling as soon as possible. I would like to get it, I started taking some of the railroad ties down, the ones that started collapsing on us. So we got a little jump start on it and we started taking them down, but I'm just waiting for the final approval to go start really taking all of them down to, so they can start their work. It's getting cold already and I would like to see that done hopefully by the end of.
So they haven't given you a time of when they're gonna start. I want to make sure that in addition to like posting at the transfer station, people don't have internet and flyers at the post office notifying them of the closure and where to go and notifying Public Works that this is gonna happen. So the hours, I think we just need to be clear on the hours of Public Works, and give people ample notice about the closure, because I'm afraid a lot of people will get up to that site and then we'll see some illegal dumping because of the closure of the transfer station. So I want to make sure everybody, we can notify in advance.
We have been notifying people by word of mouth as they go up to the transfer station. They are wondering when this is going to take place. And now once we have a better understanding of the timing, we can advertise it more and put out flyers at the transfer station. Kind of like when we have our closures for the holidays. We'll have flyers up there letting the people know when we will be closed. And going from there.
Okay, and then if you could send those to me, I could put them up in the post offices, because some people may not use the transfer station all the time.
I will, and I'll go put some up there at the post office and Family Dollar and places like that.
Okay, all right. With that, I would like to make a motion, if I'm in order, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second.
I had one other, if it's okay with Commissioner Romero, because he had raised his hand for a discussion topic.
All right.
Can I ask my question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So how do you plan to keep the replacement transfer station safe? Are you going to dig holes into the ground, trenches into the ground, so that people can reach these dumpsters? What is your plan on that?
No, they would need to just be put above ground, kind of like they are in Ojo Caliente. No, Caliente, we don't have no retaining walls, no, they're just set above ground, and we open the back door so they have access to take their refuse in. But once it gets a little bit more full, we have to close it down, and I'll see about getting some stairs up there, like these trailer stairs where they can walk up to throw their bags of trash, because as it is, the bins are 8 feet high, and it makes it a little bit hard to throw if you're standing on the ground. If you're on the back of your pickup truck, it's not a problem because you're 3 feet away, from the height of the bin.
I guess what I'm thinking of is safety for the consumer, the customer, and also the potential for liability for the county if someone gets hurt throwing a bag up the dumpster, or even going into the dumpster itself and the doors closing and slamming on their hands. Any of those possibilities is what I'm thinking of. In the past, we've taken precaution when those sites were worked on and we had to relocate those dumpsters.
It went real smoothly in Arroyo Hondo. I don't anticipate it being a problem, but I can say that could be a liability of some sort. That's why I'm suggesting putting in the stairs so they can climb up. And if we go in to move dirt and start building up piles or digging in, that's going to be more time. We don't really have. Then we'd have to brace the walls if we do dig into the ground so that they wouldn't collapse. We'd have to put some sort of shoring in there to keep the walls from collapsing, which is the problem we have now, even with the railroad ties of walls that are starting to collapse on us now.
So there will be an attendant there?
There's going to be the attendant that's there on 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, just like he was just like he does at the transfer station right now.
Mr. Chair, is there, Mr. Martinez, is there a backhoe in the in the yard there?
Not at the transfer station.
Not the transfer station, but at
At
the
the public works, yes.
public works yard. So, if the door was open, locked, people threw their trash through the door, a tenant could go in and compact it, or?
My tenant is not certified to be on a backhoe, so it couldn't be my attendant, it could be one of my drivers when we're up there. I do have a driver that's certified to operate a backhoe. But I'm sure some of the guys from Public Works, they're certified.
Are all tenants that you have in each transfer station eligible for a backhoe operator experience, training?
No.
None of them are eligible?
No, the new guy used to have one of those Cordolas, which is my busiest transportation, and he was certified to operate a backhoe. But now, since he's retired, the new gentleman that I've got to replace him, he needs to go through a backhoe training.
When do they become eligible?
As soon as I can schedule another backhoe training, I already have one already scheduled.
I thought maybe you might have got confused with my question. I was just asking, when do they become eligible to be certified? So if it's the next class, then the next time you have a class.
As soon as they're hired.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner O'Donnell?
I'm wondering if maybe once this gets going, that you might be able to come back to the commission to give us a layout of where the dumpsters will be placed and to address Mr. Romero's concerns, if that might include liability signs, caution signs, so we can address the liability issues that our commissioner has suggested. So maybe once that happens, you could give us a schematic. The problem is Saturdays, Public Works road yard is closed, so you're going to have to get access to a key to unlock the gate, and then we have to make sure that people aren't driving past that stop sign and driving into the road yard. So I think if we could see that before the contractor starts, your plan of action, I think that would help us concerns with safety.
And I will get that done for you, commissioners, before we actually started the project. I'll work on getting signs made, that the county is not responsible for accidents and stuff like that. I will make sure we get those big orange barrels to keep the public from going into the Public Works building or in that area. The place I'm planning on is just as you enter the gate, right on the left-hand side there. I do plan on having the 3 bins there, so as they go filling up, hopefully I can get somebody from Public Works to go smash the bins. Once in a while, when they have time, they will go up to the transfer station and smash the bins. That way we have more room into the bin, that we don't have to make as many trips up there as.
But by smashing the bins, sorry, Mr. Chairman, you mean
With the contract,
compact with the trash?
Yes, sir.
All right, with that, I'd like to set a motion, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
I so move we approve contract TCC 2016-098.
I'll go ahead and second, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second.
I remain concerned about safety issues.
We have a motion and a second to approve contract TCC 2016-98, contract between Taos County and HO Construction for the Chamisal Transfer Station construction. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Barros?
concerns from Commissioner Romero, do you have any suggestions, or do you think that anything that Commissioner O'Donnell suggested to Mr. Martinez and him feeling comfortable and complying, do you think there's still going to be more precaution that needs to be done, and what ideas we may have?
Mr. Chairman, you know, we live in a very soon happy world, and anything that we don't do, or, you know, we need to carefully look at how these dumpsters are going to be placed. How easily are they going to be accessible? We don't want to put them where people are going to fall into them and get hurt. At the same time, we don't want to make them so accessible where they're just going to walk into them and slip and fall and maybe get their hand cut off with those huge doors that they have on the edges. All of these things are a big concern for me. If you do put a staircase going up to the dumpster, is it gonna have railing? Is it gonna be accessible, fairly accessible? All these things remain a big concern for me, Mr. Chairman. In the past, I know our solid waste department has done the job of making sure that we did have those replacement bins in a properly secure area. Most of the time, they were either at the entrance of the transfer station or within part of the area that wasn't yet being worked on, kind of exchanged areas in order to do some of this. Because we've had problems with those railroad ties in the past in Cedro and Amalia and all those other places. And so those are concerns that I have, Mr. Chairman.
I have a lot of confidence in Mr. Martinez, and his safety record speaks for itself.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to then amend my motion to include that solid waste provide us with schematics, a plan of action of safety, addressing the railings, taking a look at the flyers, and also to notify people of the time of closure. So that way, amend my motion to include that.
I'm going to have a really hard time restating that motion, Commissioner O'Donnell. I'm going to ask you to simplify it.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we include in the motion that solid waste come back to the commission with schematics, plan of action, which would include a flyer and time of closure, length of time of closure.
Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second? We cannot have any discussion. Do we have a second? Hearing none, the original motion, as I stated before, which has a second, is discussion, and we are approving contract TCC 2016-98, contract between Taos County and HO Construction for the Chalmers Transfer Station construction. Commissioner Roma.
Mr. Chairman, I feel that we should just move forward and approve the contract because it is what is, it's what's on the agenda. And I know that the concerns that have been raised today by myself and possibly other commissioners are valid. And so we can at least just get the staff to agree to doing something about it, to make sure that they are safe.
He will. With that, clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Blankenhorn?
Yes.
Vice Chair Gagos?
Yes.
Chairman Romero?
Yes.
Fambro?
That's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. Good job on this.
Thank you.
Item F is discussion, consideration, and decision regarding the approval of an employment contract between Taos County and Susan Baker, our respective attorney up to this point. Still, we can call her attorney after this, hopefully. Mr. Cordova. Mr. Cordova.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we do have a signed contract from Ms. Baker. She signed the contract as was reviewed in our last meeting, and her intention is to start work Monday morning.
Pleasure of the commission.
Move to approve. Second, Mr. Chairman.
So my understanding is the motion will be to approve the employment contract between Taos County and Susan Baker and authorize the chairman, myself, to sign the contract.
That was my motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Discussion, Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Gagos.
Commissioners, I apologize for not being able to attend clearly with the last meeting that was held. I do have a question for staff in regards to what our position is going to be with legal counsel and the participation with commissioners asking for or directing legal counsel to, I think one of the examples was Commissioner O'Donnell's draft resolution with the behavioral health. And I heard a little bit of it, but I was getting in and out of service, and I do feel that we need to stay true, commissioners, to if we have an idea that we bring it to the whole commission. I totally support the resolution. I think that it will caught me off guard by knowing that Commissioner was moving forward with legal counsel and drafting something and then presenting it down the road to the rest of the commission. So I think that we should, you know, if one of us has an idea, we want to potentially have a draft of a resolution put forth, I think we should get the commission's full approval, send it to legal counsel, as opposed to going behind closed doors basically and saying, get this set up for me, Ms. Baker, and then you put hours of time into it, and then the rest of the commission say, well, we're not ready for this, or we're not, where's this coming from, Commissioner Gagos? So that's all that I would ask that staff would do, is make sure that we keep this process fluid without having anybody running behind and taking in personal projects.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gagos.